Bonjour, class. Today we're going to talk about literature and history, a few literary critique, and even a feminist critique. With the story concerned being Queen Guinevere and King Arthur and Sir Lancelot. The first article that I looked at is by Elizabeth Stuart Phelps, The True Story of Guinevere, 1876, whereby she decries the way Guinevere is treated in the male narratives throughout history. And particularly, she rages against Thomas Mallory's 15th century version, which says that the queen is shown as a penitent adulterer, and that the story ends with the female asking and begging forgiveness for her sins from King Arthur. She says the guilty and repentant queen portrayed in the Arthurian revival by Victorian writers who follow in the footsteps of Mallory degrade the queen in various ways. But she particularly rages against Alfred Lord Tennyson's 1859 portrait, where the queen, disguised as a nun, listens to a novice prattling about the sins of the queen. Tennyson, she says, casts Guinevere in shame and abject remorse, showing the inner turmoil of women, and, if you will, the desire of her begging for King Arthur's forgiveness. She further says that Guinevere is portrayed as a Mary Magdalene, where she grovels before him, begging forgiveness for destroying Camelot. She says, I rebel against the story. I'm sure that half of it is not true. The second article I found was The Hero and Severed Heads by David King, moral display in the prose Lancelot. The abstract, he says, the severed heads in the beginning of the story represents Lancelot's love and loyalty to the queen, but in the second half of the story, as he begins to behead friend and foe, her love becomes a burden. This version by Chrétien de Troyes in the 12th century says expands the love affair before and after the beheading of Guinevere's her abductor, Maleagans. And he says that thereafter, Lancelot's ignoring the pleas of the king to spare Maleagans, and the beheadings that follow cast Lancelot's prowess in a dark light, showing the hero devoid of mercy, killing those who seek his friendship, and causing the death of those he would defend. These murders, the writer says, shows that Lancelot's illicit love for Guinevere is a moral defect rather than inspiration. And the third article I found is a critique of a Middle English tale, quote, involves a supposed shame, iniwa, and go on. This purpose by Ryan Naughton, in his abstract, he says, is to show that the Middle English Courgevance is not shamed at the well, like his French counterpart, Calogrenant, which is, of course, the French name for the English Courgevance. With the issue being shame, he says that specific moments in the story have been changed by the Middle English redactor. In the French version of Chrétien de Troyes, Les Chevaliers au Lion, Knight of the Lion, Calogrenant tells adventures to King Arthur at the court, with the issue being shame at the well. In Chrétien's version, Calogrenant says that his tale is that of shame because the knight of the well defeats him and takes his horse. But in the Middle English version, the author of Iwan Gawan says that Calogrenant tells his tale to the court but does not mention shame. Naughton says that an investigation of key concepts like honor and shame show that the Middle English knight's story told to the court was of marvels and not of adventure, and there was no shame involved. He says, particularly points to the fact that the antonym for shame is honor. And there you have it. Thank you.